Welcome to The Uniformer. Insights into and interviews with the people and companies that drive the markets for uniforms, image apparel, public safety, and workwear.
Hello, welcome to The Uniformer. I'm Rick Levine. I'm the president here at the NAUMD, Network Association of Uniform Manufacturers and Distributors, and thrilled to be here with these two good-looking gentlemen today. So why don't you two introduce yourselves? Richard, go first, please.
So I am on the direct sales side of the Penn Emblem business. So I manage anything outside of the uniform rental, traditional uniform rental side of the business. That brings us into all different markets, from the sports market, licensing market, merch apparel, promotional, anything outside of the traditional uniforms. So I'll let John go from there.
Rick, it's good to see you again. It's we've known one another for a long period of time.
Yes.
I'm John Joseph. I'm Senior VP of Sales and Business Development at Penn Emblem Company. I'm part of the founding family that founded Penn Emblem 80 years ago.
You look good for being a centurion.
Yeah. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys joining today. And yes, I've known you and Randy and Penn Emblem for decades. We've worn many hats over those decades. But that leads me to my first question, which is, with all of that history, right? Like, that's a long time to be making emblems. And making emblems, of course, is really only a part, a small part, perhaps, I don't know, of what you do. But and I don't know which of you I'm addressing this to, maybe John, how have you seen it evolve over that many years? How has the business or the industry shifted? And I know that's kind of a broad question.
I'm going to give you a little bit of history. I've been here 36 years, so I have a lot of 36-year history, but in a lot of discussions with family, I have a lot of 80-year-old history. So 79 years ago, when Penn Emblem was founded, emblems identification was at its infancy. And the only thing that went on a uniform per se was a name emblem and probably a flag. And the name emblem was to identify, so you knew who your fellow worker was: Paul, Tom, John, Mike. That was it. And all that went on was it was basically block lettering then. They didn't even have script lettering. And all those emblems were sewn on by a person on a single head sewing machine. And that happened for years. And all there was an embroidered name going onto a garment. And there was one shape. It was an oval emblem. It was an oval emblem with somebody's name on it at a gas station with an American flag on it, period. So over the next years, customers decided that they wanted their logo on the uniform to advertise who they were, what their company was. But again, it was only an embroidered emblem. It was basically single color. That happened for probably the first 20 years in the industry. Then came along, well, we need some multicolor because our logo is multicolor. And they said, well, let's screen print on an emblem or take ink and paint onto an emblem to make it multicolor. And that lasted until the early 90s, that there were two technologies: embroidered emblems, screen printed emblems, and it evolved from oval emblems into rectangles. So it went from probably a 3-inch rectangle into a 2.5 by 4.5 rectangle company emblem with the name. And that was forever and ever. In the early 1990s, Penn Emblem innovated really a multicolor emblem using sublimation technology, where you could create an emblem in 16.7 million different colors of the spectrum. That revolutionized what an emblem, and more importantly, what that advertisement or billboard was going to look like on an emblem. And I neglected to say one thing. Early on in the industry, every emblem was sewn on. There was no way to put it on. Penn Emblem innovated and patented the technology to heat seal an emblem on. So there were two ways to put on all these emblems: sew it on or heat seal it on. And that's really where we are today on the uniform rental side. You can embroider an emblem, screen print an emblem, or sublimate an emblem. And that's the core of the business, because remember, in the uniform rental industry, it has to withstand the rigors of the industrial wash process. But in between that, uniform rental companies and ad promotional companies and promotional product companies, they decided that we need other embellishments to happen. And we're going to skip that question to later on. But new technology has really grown in this industry, and an emblem is not an emblem anymore.
Yeah, right.
All of branding, different today than it was years ago.
I mean, I've said to you or to many people, it's like, what's the, this shirt, I mean, it looks a little bit like the shirt Richard's wearing. Okay. Right. Like, but it's not a uniform, what I'm wearing, but because it says Penn on Richard's shirt, is it now a uniform? So in essence, I mean, are we saying that, it's not really a uniform until it's decorated? We've got this whole world that we live in where we protect people, right? We outfit a law enforcement officer, we put somebody in a reflective vest, we put somebody in a fire retardant material, and that's one job we have, right? But this whole branding side, this whole identification, right? A big part of what a uniform does, I'm just saying it back to you, John, I guess a big part of what the uniform does is identify, right? That's one of its biggest jobs. And you guys make that happen. I did not know that whole thing about patenting the heat seal, and that only really came around like less than 30 years ago. That's amazing, right?
So I'm going to toot our horn a little bit and tell you that,
okay.
that Penn Emblem, our company was built about innovations, and we've innovated many, many technologies and products. And I guess the biggest form of flattery is we're copied by every one of our competitors. So we innovate, we patent, the patent runs out, and everybody has that technology. So we did that with many, many things. Like when I talked about screen printing or painting in an emblem, we innovated that screen print ink technology to withstand the rigors of the industrial laundry process. We innovated that heat sealable backing that it has to stay in the uniform for years, and it does. So we're innovators to the industries that we serve, and we continue to do that today, whether it be on the uniform rental side, the promotional product side, the direct sales side. It's what makes Penn Emblem different. Things that stay the same, die the same. We're trying to be different and be innovators, and that's what we really are. To go into the second thing that you talked about was that what you're wearing, what Rich is wearing, what I'm wearing, every garment basically looks the same. The only thing that makes it look different is the identification or the brand that goes on that. So we call ourselves brand decorators.
Yeah.
So
I like
we
that.
try to make the uniform, the garment, look different with the billboard or the advertisement that goes on it. And when you talk about what that does, it builds trust within that end user. And I'll give the example. You pick up the phone and you realize that you need an exterminator to come to your house. Who comes to the home? The Terminex man. He's in a unique uniform with a custom logo on that. And you being at home or your wife being at home, the doorbell rings and the Terminex man, there he is at the door. Well, you trust that person because he's in the custom uniform program with the logo versus the local exterminator who comes in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt with nothing on there. Who do you want coming to your home? That's what a logo and an emblem and a custom uniform program does, especially when you marry it together. There's so many examples. UPS comes to your home. FedEx, Amazon. Amazon comes 100 times to our home every single day. They're in a custom uniform program.
So I know, Richard, you focus on the promo industry and some other industries that John was mentioning? I mean, how do they think about the product decoration? Is it similarly, or it's almost even more an advertising experience for them?
That's a good question. Companies are always looking to separate themselves from their competition. They're also looking for the most unique, innovative, flashiest way to identify themselves, to separate themselves. So they want the latest in technology. Now, one of the things about Penn Emblem is we're not just a patch supplier, emblem supplier. We're a solution provider. So when we go into a company, it's not about the price. We go in and we look at how they're decorating now. And traditionally, that's direct embroidery. So everybody has that. It's never going away. But look at the new technologies, such as what I'm wearing, which happens to be silicone, lightweight. It provides more than direct embroidery because it can provide you the detail. We have many solutions of providing better detail than embroidery. You don't get the puckering in your shirt. You don't feel it inside. And you get, with the new high performance garments, dry fit, they lend themselves to those garments. So you're putting on, people want new high tech appearance. Many times I get stopped in the airport. Oh, what is that you're wearing? What kind of embroidery is that? That is so cool.
Really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of times you can see, I'll walk into an office, a company, and they're may look at my ugly face for 2 seconds, but what they're looking at is what I'm wearing. The first thing they're looking at is that. And hey, what is that? We want that. How do you do it? So we provide multiple types of options for decoration, but we'll also help you with how do you put it on? How do you apply it? Can you supply the machinery and equipment? So we do the full package. And
so that's a good point. So typically, are companies sending it to you as the decorator and then you're turning it around and sending it back? Is that the most common way that you're working with a company?
There's those situations maybe with a promotional company that doesn't have the means to do their own decoration, but mostly we're working with companies that already are doing screen printing, direct embroidery, using traditional patches. And they're like, wow, help us go to the next level. Help us go to what you're wearing. And so we open up a plethora of new types of options. Some of them are not new. Some of them have been around for a while. But if I go down the list, starting at woven emblems. Now, woven, you may remember, because we won the award 2 years ago at the NAUMD for the Billy Strings emblem. Yes, that was very difficult to reproduce that look, because it's like a piece of art.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
Yes. So that we did in the woven technology, which is 100% threads. There's no stitching. There's no embroidery. It's all threads. Just like your shirt is all threads, but we produce patches, emblems from that technology.
From that, amazing.
And we'll also introduce some people like, well, it has great detail, but it's a little flat. So what's the best of both worlds? We'll embroider on top of the woven to give it dimension. There's so many different ways that you can do decoration with sublimation and embroidery that John mentioned.
What is sublimation? I'm going to play the naive listener here, even though I really don't know what it is. What is sublimation?
Well, I'm going to let John answer that.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go on to a bunch of other products. So real quick, John.
So any piece of artwork that you could develop in a PC or computer and output to a piece of paper, you can sublimate. So what it is we create a graphic, we send it to a printer on a special type of, I'll use a word, transfer paper. It's not transfer paper. And it's got special ink. When you heat that ink at 400 degrees, it turns into a gas. When you heat a blank emblem, it's made out of a proprietary 100% polyester combination substrate. When you heat polyester, it expands. This is all done on a certain type of heat press. So the ink turns into a gas, the polyester molecule expands, it's compressed in a heat press, and it's married together and becomes part of that polyester molecule. The computer doesn't care if it's one color or 16.7 million different colors. And you do this all at the speed of light at a fixed cost. It's amazing technology. And it not only works on emblems, it works on hard goods that are coated with a polyester resin. So if you go to a souvenir store and you see a mug, that mug is probably sublimated.
So, okay.
Okay, and there's hundreds of products that you can sublimate onto. Bags, totes, patches, hats. The list goes on and on.
It's really it's a fancier chemistry, but in essence, you're saying there's really any surface you could theoretically print on. You're kind of printing, but you're saying it's more of like a gas that turns into this permanent.
Oh, it is a gas, but it has to be
material.
A substrate that will accept that gas dye. It's amazing.
Right. I'm going to have to watch some YouTube videos on this because the geek in me is curious about how all of that works. But
but today we'll take that technology and we'll combine it with others. So as I was saying, we'll do a combination of dye sub, and we may dye sub on a sateen fabric to give it a special effect and look. We'll dye sub onto a tatami fabric, which is an embroidered look fabric that has a little dimension and it looks like embroidery that we've sublimated on. So there's so many different which ways that we can go. Now, one of the other products that we proudly produce in the USA is our Penn Flex material, which is 100% urethane. And it can be heat applied or it can be sewn. Now, where that is been very popular in the industry, which from in the NAUMD industry, the police, fire, and security. So with our Flex, it could have separated elements, and it can do embroidered look type of appliques, but it also can look realistic to a police badge. So we've converted where companies are embroidering directly onto police uniforms, their badge. We've replaced that with the Flex because it's so much more authentic looking. It doesn't lose any of the detail of a real badge. There's no way when you're embroidering that you can get the fine detail of a little center seal of
state seal.
So the Flex being applied to a polo that you don't feel like you do embroidery again, and it's not puckering or pulling it from 2 feet away, you can't tell it's not a real badge. Now, we don't sell it to replace a metal badge because you're never going to replace a metal badge. That's a badge of honor that everybody's, policemen's worked hard to utilize. So we do it as a replacement for embroidery. That's how I sell it. If a company wants,
but I imagine that's popular with security companies because they have two expenses, right? The shirt someone's wearing and paying the person to wear it. I mean, those are their only two expenses. And so
you're right. The National Park Service is wearing it because it depicts the original design. They didn't have to bastardize it, so to speak, to embroider it. So that's been a big innovation. And then we use our flex for corporate apparel because, again, it replaces embroidery. So you can have separated elements without any background behind it. And it can be unlimited in colors. It can have gradient colors. It could be a matte finish. It could be a metallic finish. It could be many different finishes. So that's another item that really has changed the future of how people are decorating in many different markets. It's also, we use it, some companies like to use it for decorating a bottle because you could take your original logo and you could put it on a plaque, you could put it on a bottle, you could put it on your desktops, computer, cell phone, and it has a little bit of dimension. So many, many, many uses. With a pressure sensitive backing, not just heat and not just sewing. So then one of the probably most recently, the most popular product that have been introducing, I actually introduced it many years ago, but it takes time for things to catch on. And that's silicone. So silicone can be used, can be replicated as a printed format or a molded, where molded gives you the dimension, gives you 2D, 3D dimension. Now, the reason why it's so popular now is because before that was PVC. PVC was basically a 3D dimensional product as well, but you couldn't heat apply it without it distorting or melting. It has a low tolerance to heat.
Okay.
Silicone, think about it, you use it for cooking utensils. It has a very high tolerance to heat, over 400 degrees, and you're not going to melt it. You can't hurt it. You can't destroy it. You can put it on your garment, and it's going to look, the day you put it on, the same as it after 50 washes.
Wow. Okay.
The same way with our Pen Flex. So silicone has the ability to be, like our Flex, separated elements, again, to emulate embroidery, but take it to the next level because it feels so good. It stretches with the garment. Look at Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, all their logos. There's a reason why they're making them all in silicone. People like the touch, the feel, the comfort on the high performance garments. So we were one of the first to introduce that into the market. It was coming from overseas, already decorated on apparel, but who was doing it here so that somebody could be able to apply it and have the technical know-how to apply it on their own garments. So that's one of the areas that's been big. It's very big in the promotional market that are supplying garments to executives. You want to wear the latest. So there's also TPU, thermoplastic urethane, which also has great properties of being able to be heat sealed with dimension, with unlimited colors, has a little lower tolerance to heat, so may not be as strong as silicone, but it's very useful on hats, and sneakers and so many different types of applications. And then I mentioned PVC, which we do a lot of like zipper pulls, we'll do luggage tags, keychains, all types of inanimate object types of products. But it again, it could be
inanimate. Do you also like tag people and animals? I mean, you're not working on animate objects, right?
Yes.
Not yet.
That's next.
That's next. So a lot of times we'll suggest if somebody wants to use PVC, we'll either say, hey, it should be with a Velcro hook and loop, which you see a lot in tactical and military where it's taking on and off. So that is
that's a lot of product. It's a lot of materials. I mean, you guys have to employ chemists to know how all of this interacts with the manufacturing process and is some of this driven like I always thought your Flex product might have been driven by that, everyone wants this like four-way stretch on everything now. And what you guys do has to be, flexible enough to withstand the performance aspects that you were mentioning that we want in our apparel. Right now, in law enforcement, they call them the tactical athlete. Right, like it's not just that you are a law enforcement professional; you're in a sense an athlete. You got to jump the fence, chase someone for 3 blocks, and and still look good. So, and then another angle I'm going to throw at you, I'm just throwing lots of stuff at you, is the sustainability angle, right? Because like you were saying before, I think you phrased it that, hey, it could survive 50 washings. It could survive, forever, or you could heat it to 1,000 degrees and it's still going to be there, right? And it's like,
well, not quite 1,000, but you can reheat it and recycle. Okay. Recycle is what you're looking for.
Well, I'm looking for like, are you getting asked about end of use, right? I mean, it's not a nice word, but people call what you do often a contaminant, right? When they go to recycle something or to upcycle it or change, or destroy it, they've got to get rid of the contaminant, AKA the emblem or the, or the silicon or the PV, what was it? PVU, right?
PVC.
So
TPU. Yeah, TPU.
PVC.
So there's two.
So TCU, PVC. I got to keep track.
TPU.
TP. See, I still was getting it wrong.
TPU.
All right. Address any of the things I just threw out.
So there's two pieces to sustainability.
Okay.
One is reuse of product, so they could reuse that, sustain their costs or lower their costs. So all of our products that we sell basically can be removed and reused depending on how they're applied.
Oh, wow.
So if they're put on with heat, the bulk of them can be taken off with heat and reused. If they're sewn on, they can be reused. The products, all of the products that we make, especially on the uniform rental side, are made to withstand the rigors of that industry. So they are durable enough to be reused. On the home laundry market, it all depends on that product type, whether it can be reused, but they can certainly be removed. But on the other piece of sustainability is that Penn Emblem has innovated and developed a lot of sustainable, quote, green products. Emblems and patches made out of organic cotton, hemp, tencel, bamboo, recycled polyester, PET. On the barcode side of the business, we have removed the solvent out of that to make that 100% green product, which is important to all of the industries that we serve. Everybody's talking about green. So depending on the industries, we do have products that are sustainable and green. On top of that, Penn Emblem won in 2025 from one of the largest industry suppliers the Sustainability Award in 2025. We care about that not only for our customers, but internally at every one of our manufacturing sites. And we reuse, water. We have different electricity modules in our plants to cut down on electric use and things like that. So we believe in it and we promote it internally and externally. It's important.
Excellent.
So, one thing going back to emblems that when Rich was talking that I was thinking about, for years and years, emblems, patches, garment decoration was looked at like it's an accessory. I might want to have it. I don't want to have it. I don't think about it. It's, not easy to order. But guess what? Garment decoration today is a necessity. It's all about brand awareness, and it's about a brand reputation. So personally, I think, and I'm not being biased, I think the emblem, the patch, the garment decoration is the most important thing for all of the industries that we're all involved in here.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. in the sense that it, like I said before, it's not a uniform until it's decorated. Is the way we think about it nowadays. But there, I mean, the reality is if you saw a bunch of UPS drivers in their brown,
Right.
and they didn't have a UPS patch, but you saw a number of them, you'd go, "Oh, those are all UPS, employees, team members." So there's still of course, the apparel itself still has a huge
Absolutely.
role to play in identification, but yeah, what you guys do and the turnaround. I know we've talked about this before also, that you guys have to, you're like Amazon before there was Amazon, right? I mean, people expect you to like deliver it the next day, right? I mean, how's that going?
So you took the
I'll let
words out
John
of my
answer.
mouth. Our
Yeah.
customers expect us to deliver like Amazon, but what they forgot, we're making a custom product. Amazon, all they do is take a stock product, fulfill it, pull it off the shelf, and deliver it same day or next day. Well, the uniform rental industry and the direct sale and the promotional product industry, it's all about speed to market, because the entire world thinks about, I want product today. I want it tomorrow. So we've built our manufacturing sites strategically across the continent. So we have a domestic facility in California. We make product today. It's delivered tomorrow. As early as 4 a.m. in the customer's hands. An order can come in at 6 p.m. It's in the customer's hands at 4 a.m. We also have 2 strategic locations in Mexico that can do the same thing. They're close to 2 different border facilities. So we get orders today, make today. They can be delivered tomorrow, depending on the product type. Our 4th facility is in Thailand, where we manufacture a lot of our larger run national accounts, whether it be on the direct sales side, as an example. All of the postal emblems we can make domestically, we can make offshore. Larger accounts, we can do all there also. So it all depends on who the customer is and what the demand is. But speed to market is very, very important, not only on the product delivery, but before you deliver the product, you have to have a proof. You have to have artwork made. So we're delivering proofs and artwork in 4 hours. Sample comes in, deliver it.
You have that to turn around even on newly digitized items.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
So we'll deliver a digital sample within 4 hours to the customer, or quicker if it's needed. And we're using all the new technologies to be able to do that.
I was just going to say, is AI, is this an area that actually robotics and AI can actually help? I mean, here's somewhere, it can help. Yeah. Amazing. So is that what we should watch out for the next few years? Like, what should we watch out for? Should we watch out for robots, helping with all of this decoration as we become more, it's even more than just in time. It's like, it's in real time.
Well, the robots are out there. I mean, I visit a lot of different companies, and I see one of my major customers, I see robots running around the whole floor, 100,000 square feet of floor. And you got robots delivering merchandise from one station of equipment to then the next station for finishing, then to the shipping and receiving. So we're there already.
Yeah, we're there already. That's true. But so what else? What else do you two see, or does the company see as, what might happen in the next 5 years? And we can make that sort of the final thread we talk about here.
So the garment industry is ever changing, and we talked about performance type garments like the Under Armour type things, the Viore type garments. So custom wearers want a retail look. That's what's happening in the world today. The days of a standard uniform, a blue shirt with a blue pair of pants, or even on the police side, it's all different today. So as garments are changing and they're becoming performance type garments with a more retail look. Penn Emblem is developing more retail looking and high performance emblems. As an example, emblems are now patches, they're downsized, they're smaller. The background, the fabric of the background matches the garment. The border is no longer a big, thick border. It's a thin border or no border whatsoever. Or even more importantly, it's laser cut. It's free floating, so it blends into the garment. And that's, so as the garment and the industry change, we have to be at the cutting edge and be working with garment manufacturers and the fashion designers to be on the same level that they are. That's what's so exciting, because it's different. And as we bring newer, younger people into our company who are at the forefront of all these the whole new look, they're helping us do that. So it's exciting. It's really exciting.
Wow.
So
I
an
like
emblem
that.
is not an emblem anymore. An emblem is really, it's decoration, it's branding. And that's what's exciting about it. And the new technologies that are going to allow us to do that with speed to market delivery and not jeopardizing our quality that we do, because we're a quality house. We do not sell on price. Anybody can buy a patch or an emblem overseas and on the internet, but you get no service. As Rick said, we're a full solution to our customers, from product development to artwork development to how you apply the product to all of these unique garment types. That's what's exciting. And that's what
I love it.
expects from Penn Emblem.
I love it. Was there anything you thought I was going to ask you guys I didn't before we say thank you?
No, we thank you for having us.
Covered it all. We appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, no, thank you. I learned a lot, actually. I didn't expect to learn that much about chemistry, but apparently today we had a bunch of chemistry discussions. John Joseph, Richard Hirsh, and you can go to pennemblem.com. Is that the main website?
Yes.
Yep, pennemblem.com. It's with 2 N's, everyone. And I thank you both for your time.
We thank you.
Rick.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.